Welcome back to the Mustache Multiverse, your one-stop shop for superheroes, movies, and more. Once again, I'm Sam,
And I'm Alex.
and we are diving back into our politically charged podcast. Alex, what politics would you like to talk today?
We're talking about so much, all the politic going on right now. The election and just the election.
Good.
Yeah. And by election, obviously, I'm talking about the brand new news we got coming out of D23. You know, you really make it hard for me to pivot sometimes.
I try to put you in a terrible spot and just see, what can he do? Use his creative brain to just figure things out.
Yeah, no, don't have much of that. So really, you should be the one in these creative jams, and you should have to weasel your way around.
I agree. I think that X-Men is going to be excellent. Alex, back over to you. Who did you vote for?
So obviously, we were a little bit off base last week with our D23 might be a dud.
Yeah, that one might be on me. I predicted D23.
We got really into the schedule, and we were like, I don't know, man.
What else are we supposed to do?
Marvel was like, yeah, no, we got plenty for you.
We figured that out.
So yeah, where do you want to start? Should we start with X-Men right off the rip?
I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, X-Men fully announced an X-Men movie May next year. May 28th?
Yeah.
May 28th.
Dude,
That's
28. 28 is stacked for Marvel.
3 movies, right?
Ghost Rider, X-Men, Black Panther 3.
It's going to be a heck of a year.
Crazy. Insanity. So obviously we got a big chunk of the cast announced. So we already knew Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet, sorry. Spoiler.
Did you not say it?
Did I? I'll put a spoiler warning in post. It's fine.
Spoiler about the politics thing, and then spoiler about this.
Yeah, exactly. Kit Connor casted as Scott Summers, Christopher Abbott as Professor Charles Xavier, Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, Indy Navarrete from Obsession as Rogue, Maya Boyd as Storm, and then of course Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Milbury himself, Adam Driver. Oof.
They're white whale,
baby.
right? They've been trying to land him for years, and they finally got him on a roll.
They finally got him. And I like how it was leaked for a little bit that he was going to be Magneto. And he kind of poked fun of that in his announcement video. He's like, Magneto here. Oh, nope. Just kidding. That's not me. Loved that.
I just am excited. The biggest fear we have is that there's a drop off, right? Because we had Thanos and then we had basically nothing. And now we're getting Doom. So we have to go big hit to big hit. And this is what we're doing. Not necessarily. I mean, Mr. Sinister is medium-sized hit, I would say, for bad guys, maybe. Maybe he's bigger than I'm letting him out to be.
I think he's big Adam for Driver, the X-Men universe. Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think it's going to be a big hit for them. Maybe not a household name like Dr. Doom is, but Adam Driver portraying this is going to.
I feel like with Adam Driver being casted, they could set Mr. Sinister up as to be kind of like a Loki-esque villain, or kind of reoccurring, just kind of thorn in their side of the X-Men.
And I do think that they need to drop the power level down, because we have to go back to these are essentially 20-something people finding their powers, right? We're not talking the Avengers yet. So we have to reset the power scales.
Yeah. I'm very excited for Indy Navarrete to get a big screen debut but follow up to Obsession. I thought Obsession was one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. She was amazing in it. So very excited to see her get cast in a big role like this.
Is this the time for indie horror movie people to use? Is this their time to shine? They can use this as a platform to jump into Marvel superhero roles.
Dude, it's mind blowing. Have you heard how much she got paid for Obsession?
It's got to be kabillions of dollars.
$20,000. That was her salary for Obsession.
Dude, me and you don't get out of bed for $20,000.
No way. This podcast is worth way more. Or so that one guy who always calls us Disney shills thinks. Shout out to you,
and if you could put us in contact with someone to become a Disney shill, that would be sick, actually.
That'd be so great. Yeah, so going from $20,000 in your, small indie horror film that had a budget of $750,000 to the MCU as your next step, insane.
That's awesome. And the MCU, I like the way you said it, because it's not just X-Men movie. We're talking the MCU for the next 10, 20 years, potentially, of her career could be, at least part of it could be Rogue.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool.
Probably worth upwards of $30,000, $40,000 that she could be making from these movies.
Who knows? Maybe, dude. 50? I don't know.
She
should have really. I just assumed that actors always got a cut of whatever profit the movie made. And that's just my naive, simpleton brain. But I just assumed that that makes sense. No.
I feel we don't know anything about show business, and we should stop thinking that.
Yeah. No, I'd like to be, You know me, I'm an optimist. I like to think on the bright side.
What?
So, any ideas where they might take this story for this X-Men movie with the involvement of Mister Sinister?
I don't know that much about him. I know that he's got some strong telekinetic powers, I believe, is kind of the
Mhm.
basis of a lot of it. So I like the fact that we're bringing in strong telepaths, someone like Jean Grey, Professor X, right? So like there, I always like telekinetic battles. I think those are very exciting. So I assume that's
Mhm.
where we're heading. I don't know if you've got any
Yeah.
other news.
From what I was reading, he seems like he's a really big into he's like a genetic scientist and involved in like genetic experimentation and cloning. So I feel like he could play a big role in the MCU, kind of picking up where Damage Control left off at the end of Spider-Man: Brand New Day, of like this experimentation on these mutant individuals in some way. He's got a big connection to Scott Summers. He's kind of like
I heard about
secretly
that.
pulled the strings on Scott's life on a lot of different like things throughout Scott's like early life as a in the comics. So that could be a big part of it as well. Getting this young Scott Summers could be very tied to Mr. Sinister.
I love deeply personal villains. Like, and I think that that's where the X-Men can shine, right? Like when you think of like the Dark Phoenix as a villain, it's a deeply
Mhm.
personal conflict inside the X-Men family. So I love the idea of like a villain deeply entrenched in one of the our heroes, and the other
Mhm.
heroes as a family have to come to the rescue.
Yeah, it's like the Magneto Professor X kind of friendship rivalry that just layered throughout all the X Men movies we've had so far.
I guess.
Kind of like us, dude. Well, coworkers, but yeah. All right, any other final thoughts on the X Men before we move on?
I heard that Maya Boyd was from Broadway, I believe.
Nice.
So really cool to see like we're pulling from a lot of like young up and coming
Mhm.
talents, right? Like when we talk about
Yeah.
indie up and coming talent that comes from a lot of different areas. I always think it's interesting. I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan, so I always like to hear like how do people get their start on something like Saturday Night Live? Comes from a lot of like groundswell in different comedy groups. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to see different areas being pulled from to find our next Marvel superhero. So I always like to see like whatever you're doing, as long as you're trying to get something out there, like you could be the next hero. You could be making a superhero podcast, right? And you could be the next Scott Summers.
Good. Well, they already casted a Scott Summer. I know you sent in a couple tapes. Nah, I don't know if you heard back or not, but
I'm
maybe
just saying,
maybe they
if
recast
Sinister's
him.
going to clone anybody, think about me.
Dude, I could see it. See it now. Right? Let me call my friend Kevin.
Thanks for calling, Kev.
Yeah, I got you. And other D23 news, we officially got the Doomsday footage that was shown at Comic Con, or a version of it at least released. I don't know about you, but this got me way more hyped than the first Doomsday trailer did.
Completely agree. Completely agree. This was way more hype. Just hearing his voice,
Yeah.
I'm very excited. It's more personal. It's less of an idea, and I'm like, this is what we're fighting.
Yeah, that first Doomsday trailer, it was like everything we knew about the movie. There's going to be the X-Men coming in. It's going to be, the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, whatever you want to call them, going head to head with the X-Men at some point. Doom is here. We don't know anything about him. Fantastic Four are here. We don't know any reason about why. Now we have actual, like, seeing the connection between these heroes. I thought the connection between Reed and Doom in that moment where Reed's yelling
Oh,
at him, like, did you do this? Like, man, Pedro Pascal brought it for that scene. I'll tell you what.
I love him being a leader of this new Avengers-ish team. I think he's wonderful for it.
Mhm.
Maybe not the leader, but a leader in that group. And so him
Yeah.
having this like personal connection to Doom and getting personally angry, I loved it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. I was noticing in like the background of some of these shots in this new trailer, a lot of it seems to be like the Avengers and some X-Men gathering together at the Baxter building from the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting because everything we've seen so far has been on Earth. Was it 616? Is the mainline
That,
MCU Earth?
yeah.
Something like that. But now it looks like X-Men, people from the Black Panther and M'Baku, and all these different teams are meeting up at the Baxter building, which means they are all jumping to another universe at some point.
Which is very strange. So like where and when does this movie take place is still up in the air, right? We don't know
Yeah.
when people cross over, how they cross over, because we're expecting a lot of those crossovers to happen in Secret Wars and Battle World when everyone crosses over into one world. But
Yeah.
obviously, we're going to get a lot of crossover in this movie. It just is where and when. It's still up in
Yeah,
the
like
air.
are they jumping from world to world, or is this taking place like after Battle World's kind of been put together and this is like their last fight against Doom before he wipes their memories or whatever
Exactly.
he
And I
has
think
to
a
do?
lot of it's going to be like that. I think it's got to do with like TVA type stuff where you can like jump between different
Yeah.
dimensions very easily with doorways. We know the TVA is going to be a big part of this. They were a big part of D23 from the footage that I saw with like interactive experiences with the TVA.
Okay.
So like TVA is obviously going to be a big part of it. Loki's obviously going to be a big part of it. Can we just use can the TVA or Loki help our Avengers move between different teams or different worlds with the doorways.
Or does Doom go there at the beginning of the movie, totally eviscerate the TVA, and rip Loki's heart out?
Hey, if he rips Loki's heart out,
Okay, I have to have something at the beginning of the movie as like a cold open of Doom doing something big and scary.
are you talking about Thanos choking Loki out?
Essentially, yeah. I have three
Why do
options
we
for you.
keep killing Loki?
I got three options. One of them is to kill Loki. That's always a
Sure,
go-to.
sure.
People love it.
Hey,
People
don't
love
stop ringing
it.
that bell if it doesn't start working. Am I right?
You get it. Option number two, he finds a version of Thanos and does the scene from the comics where he like rips his spine out of his body.
Cool.
Or option three, he goes to like the Council of Kangs that we saw in the post-credit scene for Quantum Mania and just destroys all the Kangs.
I do like that option because it kind of puts a button on like, why did we care about anything that we just saw?
Right? Yeah, but I don't think they could do that without addressing the fact that Jonathan Majors doesn't work for Marvel anymore. Like they just have Kangs be all different, I guess. Doesn't really matter.
No, doesn't matter. Kang can be whatever,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that the whole point?
I think we get one of those three. Some mayhem, some destruction, some just absolute carnage from Doom.
Killing Loki, I guess, is my
I gave you three options. We don't have to kill Loki. I'm just saying, if the people want it, we're going to do it.
kind of seems like you want it, dude.
No, dude. We've seen him die how many times? But like, it would make sense that Thor's extra mad at Doom.
Fine. You can have it.
Sorry, Tom Hiddleston. I love you. I love Loki season 2.
I do love Loki too.
One other note I had from this trailer. One of the lines that Doom says in this trailer is, "You have lived stolen lives, and now it is time to give them back." What do you think is going on there? Because we don't really know, like, why is Doom so mad at this specific universe and this specific group of Avengers, other than the fact that it's our Avengers, and we need to make a movie.
I know, like, the only thing I keep coming back to that is Steve Rogers, right? He's the only one
Yeah.
who's done specifically something to put him outside of time. I guess kind of like Loki. So it kind of depends on, like, Steve did something specific where he stepped outside of time and went against the TVA's sacred timeline-ish kind of thing, right?
Well, you could apply that to all the Avengers as well for getting the stones in the first place.
That's what I think is like, because you could apply that same logic to the Avengers. You could also apply that same logic, obviously, to Loki, because he stepped outside and then pulled all the stories back together. So anything that he did then is technically outside of what this reality was supposed to do.
Yeah. And
so we're already outside.
thinking back, I watched Days of Future Past recently for the first time.
Great movie.
And
For
like,
the first time?
Great movie. I know, right? I've seen it now, all right? Don't get mad. But that whole movie is about erasing the timeline and resetting it to a brand new timeline, right?
Sure.
So that's why all these other X-Men are involved here. Gambit was never supposed to make it out of the void. Now he's out of the void in the X-Men timeline. So that's resetting some part of the timeline or branching off, I guess. Ant-Man was never supposed to make it out of the quantum realm if it weren't for that rat in Endgame, you know?
Yeah, and who was that rat, dude?
Hero, legend, icon.
It's very like anti-comic book because comic booking is like people live and die and that line is crossed back and forth all the time and you can come back and you can almost have died but you didn't, so like it's very much in the comic book realm. So I think it's funny to have like this large comic book villain being like, I don't like you doing comic book stuff, I'm going to come after you for that. I think it's a cool way to have a villain be like, this is unnatural, not right, where it's like this kind of suspension of disbelief that we have was like, of course it's okay, like that's what the heroes do, right? But our villain is trying to be the voice of reason to be like, stop.
Yeah, and also like it's obviously going to be connected to him losing his wife and his child as well, because you've seen the big mural of them in his castle. How does that connect? Is he like, oh, Steve Rogers specifically breaking the timeline destroyed my universe or killed my wife and kid? I don't get that, but hopefully they make it
like,
clear.
Because how does he know? I agree. How does he know? It's had to see.
Yeah, we'll find out, hopefully. Yeah, because I mean, think about all of the stuff in the Void and like the Loki's shows. That's like, those are all purged timelines. Any one of those could have been the branch that broke Doom.
I think it's Crocodile Loki.
I like to think so too. Yeah, or Frog Loki. Frog Thor. Yeah, my bad. All right. But they also seem to really be playing into like his magic and his runes that he's got going. Like the trailer opens with him sitting on like a throne with a big rune of like green glowing magic on the ground. Oh, that was dope.
Love that. I love leaning into the magic. Like, I love that he's very smart, scientific as well. I think that that's going to be a big part of things. But the magic part where like that is able to counteract like things like Thor makes more sense to me than him just being smart.
Yeah, I also feel like Doctor Strange is going to be one of his acolytes, which is why Doom is specifically prepared to counter Thor. Because Strange prepared magic specifically to counter Thor. Because I
The
was
acolytes have to be something.
in the research for this episode, which we're going to talk about a little bit, is all the post-credit scenes. The Doctor Strange post-credit scene where him and Clea go to fight incursions was 4 years ago. It is like very reasonable to think that in those 4 years, Doom went to them while they're fighting incursions and he convinced them to join his side of, we need to stop these incursions completely, and the only way to do that is by following my plan.
Well, wasn't that kind of what they said? We could get into it in that section, but like they were going to stop incursions, right?
Yeah, yep.
So
That's
like
why
it
she
would make
showed
sense
up.
that they're aligned.
Also, one of Doom's acolytes has a mask with a third eye hole right here on the forehead, just like Doctor Strange got his third eye unlocked.
Could be anyone.
Multiverse. And a lot of them have 3 eyes.
Could be anyone.
Could be Triclops.
Sign me up to be Triclops, dude.
We'll get you in there somehow.
Thanks.
All right, one last thing before we jump into breaking down all of the Marvel post-credit scenes. I want to get your thoughts on the Green Lantern show. Lanterns, episode 1.
I loved it. I don't know about you, dude. I thought it was super fun.
Yep.
Gritty, funny. The character tension was wonderful. So spoilers for Lanterns, obviously. Like it's at some point.
Keep it light and breezy. Light spoilers.
Light and breezy? Okay.
Yeah. Don't
You don't want to go too far?
Don't go too deep yet. Yeah, we'll give people time.
Okay. Go watch Lanterns. So good.
Super good.
Enjoyed it. They answered a lot of questions I had going into it, which I thought helped me get into it because it answered like logical questions of like, why are there 2 Green Lanterns? They answered that immediately. So like, if you're going into it with like hesitations, like I was with like, why are these characters here? What are they doing? Very straightforward when you get into the show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I will say it gives a kind of like Peacemaker vibes a little bit. Season 1, at least.
I get you.
And then also a little bit of what like Secret Invasion could have been for Marvel.
Yeah,
like this like mystery unfolding in the background. Yeah, I like the story, like the way that they're manipulating the story so far by showing us different points in time. Don't want to go too far into it.
I think the best way to tell a story is briefly flash to the beginning.
Yeah, thank you. One little thing, I feel like they're dropping way too many F-bombs. They
are a little bit like unnatural, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, just like every other word, they're just like F-bomb. Like, guys, you got the R rating. You're fine. You don't need this.
We know James Gunn's involved. It's okay.
Yeah, that was my only thing that took me out of it a little bit. Is every time I'd be like, is that really necessary? Do I have to swear about it?
It was one of the few times where I was like, dang, like I have to wait a week for episode 2.
Yeah.
Like I haven't got that feeling about a show like that in a while. Where a lot of it obviously is because of like the bingeability of shows. People will drop 8 episodes and they're just supposed to like link to the next. But I genuinely am so excited for episode 2.
Yeah, same. Can't wait for next week. All right, let's get into it. The main topic of today's show is
Kingdom Hearts 4 dropping.
Go ahead. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 dropping, dude. Yes. You know me. I love a video game campaign. Let's get into it.
Stories that take hours.
No, we did a little research. We wanted to go through and break down all of the post-credit scenes of the MCU to see, does the MCU have a post-credit scene problem right now? Or do these credit scenes all tie into a larger story?
I love this idea. I love the idea of like, let's find out all the threads. And we only have a couple months here before we have to tie essentially all of them together. If you're going to stick true to what you did beforehand, you now have to make good on all of these within the next like 2 months in a movie. Can they do it? Or are we inevitably just going to let a lot of these fall?
Yeah. So let's start with pre-Endgame. We'll do this kind of quick. I'm going to run down the synopsis real quick. So Iron Man's post-credit scene was Nick Fury showing up to talk about the Avengers initiative. All right. So obviously that was teasing the first Avengers movie. Similar thing in the Incredible Hulk post-credit scene. He showed up to Thunderbolt Ross to talk about forming a team, the Avengers. Then Iron Man 2 had a post-credit scene, which connected to Thor. So like literally the next movie. Then Thor had a post-credit scene connecting to the Avengers. Captain America's post-credit scene connected to the Avengers. So that first phase, all of the post-credit scenes connected to the Avengers or the next Marvel movie.
Immediate payoff.
Yeah. Then after that, we get the Avengers, obviously. There was a post-credit scene about Thanos a little bit that connected to Infinity War. So that one a longer payoff, but it was the first seeds of like this big
which it should be.
Villain.
It's the end of one chapter. Let me sprinkle a little bit in for you for the next big chapter.
Yeah. My only thing here is maybe they could have teased Ultron instead, since that was the next Avengers movie.
I hear you. I hear that.
But you know, minor thing. They were following their plan. Iron Man 3 had a post-credit scene. Wasn't really anything. It was just Tony talking to Bruce. Didn't
Besides being
connect
the
to
best movie
anything.
they ever made. Keep going.
No, the best movie they ever made was Thor: The Dark World.
Thank you.
Post-credit scene, they bring the Reality Stone to the Collector, so that kind of sets up Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out a year later.
Perfect. Immediate payoff.
Immediate payoff. The Winter Soldier connected to Age of Ultron, so that was what, a year later. Okay, cool. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't really have a post-credit scene that connected to anything. Age of Ultron's post-credit scene connected to Infinity War, so that was like a 3-year wait. Ant-Man's post-credit scene connected to Ant-Man 2 by showing the Wasp's costume, but it also connected to Civil War by showing Cap, Sam Wilson finding Bucky, so that connected to the next Marvel movie. Civil War connected to Peter Parker making Spider-Man Homecoming, and also connected to Bucky going into cryo sleep in Wakanda, which brought us to Infinity War. Spider-Man's connection didn't really have one. It was just Mark, Grogan, Scorpion finding out or trying to find out his identity. So that kind of connects to Brand New Day in a sense, but not really.
Like a little loose tie. Yeah.
Yeah. Ragnarok, next movie, connected to Infinity War. Black Panther, connected to Infinity War because they woke up Bucky Barnes. Infinity War, connected to Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp, connected to Endgame. Captain Marvel, connected to Endgame. And we have Endgame.
But like the pacing of that is so important. Lead me to the next thing, but then at your major chapter points when you've got a larger audience, there's an objectively larger audience for things like Avengers movies. Lead me to the next Avenger movie. And then at the end, when you've got just a couple movies left before Endgame, like just punch it home, build the tension for the big movie.
Yep, they're building up to something, right? That big movie. And it's always building steps to that movie, whether it's dropping an Easter egg or something for Infinity War or dropping something to get us to the next step to Infinity War. And like we look at the years, the years that it took, like a couple of these payoffs took like 4 years. A couple of them took like 6 years if you want to count the Avengers post-credit scene leading to Infinity War, or if you want to count the Guardians of the Galaxy post-credit scene leading to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was a longer payoff. But other than that, all of these post-credit scenes were paid off in like 2 years or less. And most of them were paid off the next year.
They were, I like that because it got immediate payoff, but not everything was tied up. We still had those 1 or 2 loose ends that we could be like, these 1 or 2 things are what we're going to get in Endgame or with Thanos. Like we still had a through line to get us there while still being satisfied with all these movies that were like, oh, this movie meant something because it paid off this other thing as well.
Now let's compare that to Post-Endgame.
Post-Endgame,
starts with Far From Home. The post-credit scene is Spider-Man's identity being exposed to the world, so that connects to No Way Home. That's a 2-year gap.
And I'll take anything with Jake Gyllenhaal, if I'm being honest, so that's fine.
Yeah, sure. And it was the next Spider-Man movie, right? Logical steps. Then we had the Black Widow movie, which introduced Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fronte to connect to the Hawkeye show. So that was like a short, like half a year payoff, right? That was later that year. We got the Hawkeye show. Cool. You want to connect the shows to the main line? That's fine. Here's where it gets messy, right? Because then we had Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. Great movie, right? I would have thought they would have made a sequel by now. The post-credit scene was them kind of taking the Ten Rings to Wong and Banner and Carol Danvers and analyzing them. And then there was like a blip that happened, like a beacon was set off in the Ten Rings, right? Which I think would have connected to Kang eventually, but they never like said exactly what it was.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2021.
Okay, not great.
It's 5 years. 5 years ago. And if you think about it, like this Avengers movie this year, Doomsday, was supposed to be the Kang dynasty. So like you should have had some kind of, but that was also supposed to be a very heavy Shang-Chi focused movie. I think him and Spider-Man are going to kind of be like the leaders of the Avengers in that original plan. So
I can see that.
But yeah, the really sad thing is, and I'm going to fact check something real quick. I don't know when we're going to get a Shang-Chi 2, even though that movie was so good, because
it makes me nervous, dude, because Shang-Chi 1 was so good. I think the character was so well received. So like the fans love it. It seems like the movie did well. So like, why can't we capitalize on something we liked, which is not something like you can say a lot of for some of the movies that we've got.
And here's potentially a reason why we won't get that payoff for a while is because the director for Shang-Chi was Daniel Destin Cretton, who just directed Spider-Man Brand New Day, the $2 billion grossing movie. I think it's almost a guarantee he gets signed to an extension by Sony/Marvel, whoever that is, to direct the next Spider-Man movie, which just leaves Shang-Chi kind of in limbo.
Right, because
unless they want to go to a different director.
Which you could do, but you almost don't want to because you're saying, I've got so much faith in this director. They're doing so well. give them another mainline property.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Coogler's directed all three of the Black Panther movies. Because like he's done so well with the source material he's been given. He's made amazing movies, so they want to keep him attached to that project. You would think they would want to do the same thing, but then they moved Cretin to another franchise. It makes it hard.
That's very difficult. And clearly they're trusting him with like the keys to the next era. So like with Spider-Man being a huge property that had to do well before Doomsday, they really needed this to go well. So clearly he's being trusted with a lot. It's just, what do you have him then do? He's going to get a huge contract. I agree with you, but to do what? Obviously, probably another Spider-Man, but what else?
Yeah. So all of this to say, that was 2021. We're going on 5 years now since we've had any resolution to those post-credit scenes. Maybe never. So moving on.
Actually, never.
The Eternals post-credit scene. We had, oh gosh, what's the guy's name? Harry Styles. Harry Styles showed up, and then, and I didn't even know this. I guess I've never sat through and watched the second post-credit scene. But it's Dane Whitman opening the Ebony Blade box and hearing the voice of Blade. And that's what I found online. I don't know if that's true or not. You want to fact check me?
I'll look it up later. I can't move my phone.
Yeah, no. You see, I'm not the only one. Aha. So yeah, he opens his box. The Ebony Blade is there, and he hears the voice of Blade. Guess what movie we're not getting anytime soon?
Wait, the Ebony Blade, is that the blade that Blade uses? I'm not super familiar with the Blade source material.
The powerful mystical sword in the comics, created by Merlin and Sir Percy of Scandia, forged, famously wielded by generations of the Black Knight, most notably Dane Whitman. So not Blade's blade, but a different blade. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a mythical weapon that we have not followed up on in any capacity.
Correct. That was 5 years ago. Potentially never going to get follow up to that. All right,
I'm going to go with definitely probably not.
Spider-Man No Way Home had a post-credit scene. It had two post-credit scenes. One of the post-credit scenes was Eddie Brock and Venom teleporting into the MCU and then leaving, but they left the symbiote behind. So no resolution to this one yet. We'll put it on the list of maybe someday.
This one I have the highest hope for, but yeah, we'll see.
And then I forgot this existed. Apparently, the second post-credit scene for this movie was just a trailer for Doctor Strange. How lazy is that? Yeah, like, here's our next movie that was coming out like 2 months later. Oh no, 6 months later. Okay.
Shameless.
So that's pretty quick. That's like a 6-month gap between post-credit scene and that's what we want. All right, right in the sweet spot. Doctor Strange. Clea recruits Doctor Strange to fix the incursion in the dark dimension. Maybe we'll get a connection to that in Doomsday, but best case scenario, that's 4 years in between post-credit scene to resolution.
I really think we are going to follow up with that one because it says incursion, but like you're saying, like, we've had nothing to tie that to. We started to get more when we got into like Loki season 2, and maybe we're going to get it now. But that one was a doozy because we all thought, like, I thought when I saw that, I'm like, oh, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, right. Then we had Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That was Nakia introducing Shuri to Prince T'Challa. So that is obviously going to be paid off in Black Panther 3. So that comes out in 2028. So that's like a 5-year gap in between post-credit scene and payoff, which...
definitely happening, but sizable.
Yeah. Ant-Man, Quantumania, the post-credit scene was the Council of Kangs, gone. And then a Loki and Mobius scene. So that connected to Loki season 2. So that was a quick payoff, like a year. Then we had Guardians of the Galaxy 3, putting Peter Quill on Earth. Maybe that connects to Doomsday. The post-credit scene was him meeting his grandpa. So that could be something. Maybe reaching, but could be something. And then Monica Rambeau from the Marvels wakes up in an alternate universe with Beast, Hank McCoy, and Binary, Maria Rambeau.
That was an awesome post-credit scene.
Yeah,
and right. That immediately brought in the X-Men. That was sick. So, like, it does feel like that's going to get paid off. We just haven't seen much of the Marvel.
Yeah, but both of those characters, Doomsday. I feel like Hank McCoy has been totally absent from all the Doomsday stuff, but like probably is going to be involved, right?
I think
like we've seen like Nightcrawler's costume and stuff, but we haven't seen Nightcrawler. We don't see anything for Beast yet.
I thought we saw Kelsey Grammer at San Diego Comic-Con.
I think you're, yeah. I was going to say, I thought we saw the actor somewhere. So that's probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah. So should be in Doomsday. And then there was also Kamala Khan recruited Kate Bishop for a new team.
That's
so Young Avengers. Yeah. Which, if you think about it, the Kang Dynasty was supposed to feature a lot of the Young Avengers and Shang-Chi and Spider-Man leading this team. So that kind of would have made sense. But this is where the asterisk comes in, because after the Marvels, a couple months later, Jonathan Majors fired from the MCU. So thus ends the Kang Dynasty. So yeah, A lot of those were little to no payoff at all. But let's see if we're on track now. So since then, we've had
Okay.
4 movies. All right. Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a mini post-credit scene. Didn't really mean anything. It was just Johnny Storm saying all that stuff about Cassandra Nova. Okay. That's fine. Captain America Brave New World. Samuel Stearns warns Cap while they're on the raft talking, the prison. He warns him about the incursions that are coming. Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Okay. Thunderbolts, talking about all the space stuff, and then the Fantastic Four arrive. Direct connection to Doomsday.
Direct. Yep. Immediate
And
payoff.
then Fantastic Four. Doctor Doom comes to visit Franklin. Direct connection to Doomsday. So maybe.
Then you got Brand New Day.
We got Brand New Day. Forgot about that one. Which
doesn't give us anything.
I mean, it gives us something, right? The way I see it, it gives us one of 3 things.
It gives us nothing.
It gives us, we know Spider-Man's off-world, right?
It gives us 3 things. It either kills Loki.
Yep. Kills the Council of Kangs or kills Thanos.
Yep.
No, so we know it's either Spider-Man's off-world or another Spider-Man just materialized in space because his world is crashing into our world. Those are my prevailing theory.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the most likely of what's happening. It's just it left me with bad taste.
Let me riddle you this. If Spider-Man is gonna be in Doomsday, how long do you think they have to wait from Brand New Day being out before they can reveal that? Because obviously, like a big part of Brand New Day, again, spoilers for Brand New Day if you watch this whole thing and haven't seen Brand New Day, but like there's that little tiny suspension of disbelief that Spider-Man might die. If Spider-Man was all over the Doomsday marketing, would that totally take away from that moment?
I guess my question to you then is, are we going to get a new trailer, or have we gotten all that we're going to get before Doomsday?
I think there'll be one more trailer closer to the movie, like a month out. One that they can start attaching to other movies in theaters again.
I just don't know what movie that is. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, and I don't know.
agree,
I don't think Spider-Man would be in
something.
I think Spider-Man will most likely just be in Secret Wars. That'll be his next time he shows up.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's going to be in Doomsday.
And yeah, I think we'll get a Spider-Man.
I would love to get a Spider-Man
in both Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Peter 2.
Peter 2, yeah, obviously Peter 2. I would love to get Peter 3 in there too. Like
I would take Peter 3.
If we're pitching ideas, I'll take all 3 Peters. Yeah, except it might be tragedy for Peter 2. I don't know if I want to see him go through that. You know, instead of Doctor Doom showing up and destroying somebody, we could just destroy Spider-Man's world.
Squish Spider-Man.
And just like his entire, like that whole universe. We could see like J. Jonah Jameson. We could see Harry Osborn played by James Franco, looking out the window, sees his world being destroyed.
What a sad end to the Raimi-verse.
Yeah, we thought the once promising franchise could have had 4 Spider-Man movies, crumbled because of how bad Spider-Man 3 was.
Well, Harry would probably get out on the skateboard, but everyone else wouldn't make it, I agree.
Dude, what would you do if that happened in Doomsday? We see skateboard and Harry flying through.
I would watch all the haters see
like him and Spider-Man are teaming up to fight off whoever's there trying to destroy their universe.
I would know officially they got all my letters and they were choosing to ignore my Cyclops impression.
Well, if you had to have one or the other, I would choose that. Me personally, I'd take the skateboard.
I would take the next 20 years of Marvel movies, but I guess we're just different though.
All right, so has Marvel fixed their post-credit scene problem? Maybe. They seem like they're on the right track. Come on, the last 2 have really led up to Doomsday. Okay, if you don't count the last one, but the 2 before that were really good.
I'll give you the 2 before that being actually good.
And you can't deny that this will connect. It's just not the connection you want. It's not like the connection that hits.
Yeah,
it's not a connection that hits.
Like
it will connect in some little way.
That's where I don't like little things like that where like he will show up in some way. It's so loose that I could be like, I bet that the Fantastic Four get in a fight in the next movie. Like, yeah, of course they're going to get into a fight. Like, of course these things are going to happen. You're not giving me any, there's no meat on the bone. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Thinking about those movies pre-Jonathan Majors being fired, do you see them paying off any of those post-credit scenes in the immediate future or in the future at all? Will we eventually get a Blade movie? I'd love to. I mean, Dane Whitman come back in an eventual movie and maybe team up with Moon Knight, Blade, Doctor Strange, the Midnight Suns with his ebony blade? Maybe. But when they do, are they going to be able to say, hey, we set this up in 2021 with the Eternals? I don't know. It might be too far gone.
Right. Like, is it even worthwhile to pick up those threads anymore? Because, do we care or are we so far past it? And I think a lot of us at this point are like, we're so far past it. Give us something good now that we can build the next 10 to 20 years on, which I think that they're doing, and just be like, okay, we all agree. We're wiping our hands of the last couple of years. We tried. They were okay. They didn't build anything, though. Like, they were good individually.
We
We're moving
had to
on.
pivot. We made some mistakes. We had to make some changes. These things got dropped. They're dropped. It's over. Move on.
Exactly.
I mean,
Like, just
definitely want to
let
get
us
a
know.
Shang-Chi too, though. Yeah, you had to put that on the list.
That one is probably of everything here that I would like. We have to go back to and revisit that Shang-Chi for sure.
Yeah. I have two more things that I want to run by you. Does this mean that like the young Avengers is kind of dead in the water?
By no means, I don't think. I think that with
Really?
I think because they're establishing young X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
it fully establishes a future for young Avengers because
Fair.
we have this extremely talented cast of people that we've already cast in these roles and we've invested something in that, like, if you have these new X-Men take over for a while, bringing in the new Avengers at any point during that storyline is almost like nostalgia for this next generation.
Will they be the young Avengers we've seen so far? Will they have to be like recast though? Like at what point do they be too old to be young Avengers?
And I have to catch in soon.
I don't know. All right. We're almost done here. We got to wrap up soon. I got a couple more things real quick. Vision Quest trailer. I might be back in on Vision Quest. I might be in.
Vision Quest.
Yo, give me all of the Ultron you can. I love it. I think some way this show is going to be Ultron manipulating Vision to get out of this prison that he's trapped in. And Ultron will be set free onto the world eventually to be set up as a big bad. I think that's the whole purpose of this show. But it also ties together the WandaVision arc there. So love it.
Very excited.
Also,
I love a highly stylized thing. This looks highly stylized, like very cool.
Yeah. Take me back to WandaVision when we were like, the episodes it was different. I feel like a lot of Marvel shows have fallen into and movies too, to an extent, have fallen into the same like patterns. Give us something that feels different.
Different with a budget, because sometimes I was like, Agatha all along felt different, but no budgets. I feel like this one feels different budget.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what do you think is going on with Wolverine and Deadpool?
Knock it off, guys. Hey, dear friend Sam, knock it off.
Like either they're in the movie or they're not in the movie. If they're in the movie, you tell us. If they're not in the movie, why are you setting us up for disappointed by pretending they're in the movie?
We're gonna get pissed off if they're not in the movie now.
Yeah. So just tell us that they're in the movie. So just tell us they're in the movie.
Yeah. Stop messing around. Knock it off.
Hey, Marvel. Listen to your boy Sam. You owe it, Matthew. You ain't cast him as Cyclops.
Sam again. Emails from the emails. Knock it off.
All right, guys. Let us know down below in the comments. What did you think of the new footage for Doomsday? And what do you think of this new cast of X-Men? Are they going to hold up to the previous cast that we've had? Are they going to supersede? Will it just be better because it's connected to the MCU? Or will it feel too MCU? Kind of like how the X-Men
movies
mad?
Were. Like me, that James Marsden is not getting to reprise his role for years and years and years?
He gets one more movie. Let him be. Let him rest.
Give me 10 more movies. Let's debate on that.
Where was this anger from you back in like 2004 when they killed him originally?
It was just simmering. Now it's
I know young Sam did not care that Cyclops got killed.
Well, that was before I thought I could be it.
Make sure you click that subscribe button down below so you can get all of our episodes, and follow us on Instagram at the Mustache Multiverse Podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Let's whip on out of here.